We have so much growing in our summer garden this year, and I just want to get you guys caught up on some of the new things we added in and some of the growth progress on what we have already planted.
Open up, you OPN, bitch, you won't BBM. We should be closer than friends, if you OPN.
With all this rain and all this sun, we have so much growth going on. So I'm just gonna get right into it and show you guys what's thriving, what's not, what's new, and what's a little bit old and is ready to go. This is the newest addition to the garden. I just made a quick little raised bed out of some leftover bricks and some old potting soil. I wanted to squeeze in as much as I can in the growing season. I have a little bit over 150 days left in our 8B 9A growing season. So I just planted some leafy greens in here that I wasn't able to squeeze into my other beds. Some more beans, because I'm loving the way the bush beans are coming out. Those guys are over there. I'll take you guys to see those in a second. But this bed was last minute, and I think it's so cute. It's like the heart of the garden. It's so perfect just where it is. And I actually noticed that it's beginning to get really dry on a daily basis, and I direct sowed these seeds. I want them to germinate, so I just got some straw. I'm gonna throw it over the top tonight after I water, and that should take care of most of the dryness. So the one thing that's really thriving this year is my cucumbers. I've made a couple videos about these guys already, but look, they've already grown so much since my last update video. They're starting to fall over. My trellis is just way too short. The growth is unbelievable. So I'm gonna have to come up with a way to extend my trellis so that they don't end up just drooping right back on the ground, which is not where I want them to be. I want to at least have a good walkway. So we're gonna try to train these guys back up another trellis. About all the male flowers that I saw, and I was concerned that there weren't any females. I didn't know if I was gonna have to self-pollinate, but I noticed a lot of baby fruit, so I'm not worried about that anymore. Let me see if I can give you guys a look. There's one. And if I keep searching through these thorny bushes, I can find you guys some more, but they're so heavy right now. I don't think I'm gonna hurt myself, but let me see. I could find you guys one more real quick. There we go. And there's another one. Some of my citrus trees and regular fruit trees, my peach trees, my pear trees, my apple trees, they're kind of worrying me. They haven't pushed off any new growth. I think I fertilized them way too soon and maybe did something wrong with the root system. I don't know if fertilizer ruins the root system, but I just have not seen any new foliage growing. This is a Meyer lemon tree, an improved Meyer lemon tree. This is also an improved Meyer lemon tree. And I got these guys from fastgrowingtrees.com. And this one, I received damage. A main branch was broken off there. So I think that had something to do with the lack of growth. I think it kind of shocked the system a little bit. And then this guy shot off a lot of new growth. This is all new. This is new. All the tops of these branches are new. And then ever since then, nothing else. So I don't know. I fertilized all my trees. Maybe that was a big mistake that I'm paying for now, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to let them do their thing, keep them really well watered. I have them mulched. So we'll just give them some more time to give us some positive feedback. And I foraged some bamboo from my area. I'm going to just tie these guys up, keep them from leaning as they're so young. Tie this one up too. So I'll start you guys over here at my little asymmetrical bed corn patch. I did not direct sow these. I started these corn seeds in seed starting trays and I transplanted them when they were yay high. I'm having some trouble with this one. I think I just need to add some more soil around it This is leaning a lot. They were showing me some early signs of deficiencies. Some of the leaves were breaking and yellowing, like you can see right here. So I'm gonna try to feed these guys some nitrogen and see if that does them any good. But my cat loves to just walk through these little corn towers and kind of lay around in there. I suppose it's really cool, but he's beginning to do some damage. See, that one's leaning a lot. Got to keep that guy out of here. So we're gonna move to the right, and these are beautiful, beautiful jalapeno pepper plants. I stopped pinching the flowers and they have began to grow out of control. I harvested my first little, actually it wasn't little at all, it was bigger than my hand, jalapeno the other day, and it's sitting on my countertop just waiting on the perfect time to use it. But these things are loaded with flowers. They're everywhere you look. Just loaded. This thing is gonna be loaded with jalapenos. Oh look, there's a baby one. And they're so bushy. The pruning that I did just created such bushy plants. And I've actually been wanting to come down here and prune some of these unnecessary ones that make it a little tough for me to water. So I'll just pick some of those off. Oh, there's another little guy. I've already pruned much of this one off, and that's how I like it. I can easily get under there and water. Get this guy out. Quick and easy. This is a dwarf sunflower that I did not expect to get this large. Look at the stalk on it. It's actually pretty huge. I mean, it's a good size. I did not expect this, but this is gonna be a sunflower soon. Moving along to the other side of those massive jalapeno plants, hiding under here, which was a huge mistake, guys. I planted these serrano peppers way too close. Way too close. They're struggling for light and not growing very tall, as you see. That was a big mistake. I don't know what's gonna happen with those guys. All I can do is say a prayer for them, because look at their competition. It's getting kind of serious. All right, so here we have a green sweet pepper plant, and then these three here are red peppers, sweet red peppers. And they're starting to put off some flowers now. I've been pinching for the last couple weeks, so I think I'm just gonna let these guys go and we'll see what happens. I don't particularly like okra, but I know that it's good for you. I've heard a lot of people say great things about okra, so I decided to give it a try this year. And I know my husband likes okra, so if I don't eat it, he will. And hopefully I can convince my girls to take a few bites. So I have a lot of okra. This is an okra, the crimson spineless, and that is also a crimson spineless. And they're bushing out quite a bit. And they're, in my opinion, really top heavy. So I think what I want to do is prune off some of these just really heavy. Let me get my scissors. I'm just gonna come in here real quick and clip some of these big leaves off the bottom. Also gonna reduce any risk of disease transferring from the soil to the plant. Yeah, I might need to give this guy some sort of bamboo cage too. That right there is baby okra. This is also a crimson spineless, and they're just huge. I mean, look at the size of this leaf. In comparison to my hand, they're absolutely beautiful with a little bit of a hint of burgundy in the veins. I think they're just massive and so pretty. But if you look in here, aside from the new growth, those little guys are baby okra. And the ants love these plants for whatever reason, I don't know. But there's another baby okra. I have some on the other side. So I suppose we're gonna be getting a lot of okra from these, even just these two. And I have more. Let me get the camera to focus. I have more back there. Here's a better view of the serranos in competition with the jalapenos. They're just really small and weak. And then another mistake on the other side of these okras, I just really didn't expect these plants to grow this big. But we have, these are ancho peppers, and they're bushing out some, but they're just not putting on the growth that we need them to. We have this beautiful tomatillo plant that is starting to set their flowers, produce some fruit. More flowers over here. More fruit developing. And hiding in between all of this goodness, this is a determinate tomato plant, and it's a bush variety. I don't remember the name. I believe it's Geranium Kiss. Yeah, that's what that is. Geranium Kiss bush tomato plant that's growing really beautiful. Then we have another tomato plant. Don't know what variety this is, but we'll find out really soon. And then this whole back row is the crimson spineless okra. This one is doing the best, and then it kind of goes down the line to the weakest. But they've come a long way for sure. They were definitely dying, just like the cucumbers when I put them in. I think that had a lot to do with the fact that I started them in seed trays outdoors and they weren't indoors. The heat kind of damaged them before they had a chance. So on the other side of these massive cucumbers, we have jade bush beans, and some are doing better than others. This one is starting to fall over into my walkway, but I did notice a lot of growth and production. There's another one back there, another one here. So we're gonna have a good harvest off of these couple of plants. There's a lot of blooms and a lot of fruit, so it's a great sign. There's another one in there. And then this one has some little guys, but they're doing great. So I was gonna mark this bed my medicinal apothecary herb raised bed, but I've since changed my mind. I'm gonna do something else with that idea. But I do have some sage in here that's just growing really beautiful. I've already gotten 2 harvests off of it, and it's just growing back already. It's doing really good. And then we have another one of these ginormous dwarf sunflowers. And then these guys over here, and then all the way up there are persimmon tomato plants. And some are doing better than others, but I've never had a persimmon tomato, and I'm super excited to see what they taste like. I've heard some negative reviews about them, but I've also heard positive, so we're just really interested to see what they'll end up tasting like. And most of my onions died from, I think it was just they weren't heat tolerant varieties, or I don't know, but these 2 have survived, and they're just so cute. I'm so excited to harvest those when they do come. I just think it's funny that I only have 2 in this bed. So here's some Swiss chard. I just did 3 seeds to make sure that we had good germination rate. Actually, I did 4. Wow. So this is the orange Oreo variety. And you can see it already has its orange color. Smell pretty good too. I might just eat these. And then we have a little baby zinnia, the beautiful sage, growing so lovely. And then I don't know what this is. Even though I decided to switch over to raised bed and permaculture gardening, I still have the remains of some of the containers that I started off in the beginning of spring. And these 2 are beefsteak tomato plants. This bamboo I foraged from this area right up the street from my house, which is just like a secluded random country road that just happens to have tons of wild bamboo patches. So I can go and come as I please and collect, and I just love it. It's like my new favorite hobby. I could use them to trellis. I can make cages. I can just do so much with this free bamboo from the great Lord. So yeah, that's where this stuff came from. Down here, I just have some rosemary, which smells great. And then this is the same jicama seed that I sowed. This one is suffering from some kind of deficiency, clearly. And this one is kind of thriving. It even secured itself to this fencing. So I didn't know it grew tendrils like that. I didn't even know it vined like that. So this is a jicama plant. Super interested to see if there's anything going on underneath there. This is like a 1 seed challenge off of sage, and I already took maybe 2 or 3 harvests off of this, and still growing back really nice. Some sweet basil. And then I have a couple Swiss chard seeds. This is the same orange Oreo one. I don't know why I threw so many in here, but I'm just gonna thin these out and keep the strongest one. Now I'm just gonna rearrange it so that it looks nice and neat. So I did come through and fill in some of the gaps with some zinnias. I think they're called fruit smoothie zinnias, and they're annual, and they germinate in like 60 or 80 days. So I still have time to grow some flowers in the garden to bring a lot of the extra pollinators and just the good stuff that wants to pollinate my flowers. So I have been battling a lot of ants. Of course, they want to set up shop in the raised beds. So I've been combating them with cinnamon. I'm actually getting torn up by mosquitoes right now. They are freaking ruthless. So I did plug in some zinnias back here. They just haven't came up yet. And I think I plugged in some over there by those little baby Swiss chard. So I kind of skipped over the heart of the garden. I didn't really describe to you guys what I direct sowed in here. So I thought I'd just grab the seed packets and show you guys a little bit more in detail. So this is strictly for summer garden. I was looking for some heat tolerant plants. I was looking for things that I could at least get 2 set of crops in. I have 160, probably now like 155 days left in the growing season before the first frost at least. So I was looking for things that I can plant twice and get 2 harvests, 2 really good and even more harvest off of them. So beans were one of my options. So these were a pack of seeds that I picked up back in early spring. These are from My Gardener, and they are called the Canarelli Yellow Eye Bean. These are an annual. They're so beautiful, and they are container friendly if you guys have a container garden, but they mature in 60 days. They germinate in 4 to 6 days, and they're beautiful. I liked how the bush beans were growing so much and so fast, and I noticed that we're gonna get a lot of beans off of them, so I decided to plant more. So I added some more of these jade beans. This is a bush plant variety, and these are also container friendly. I already have the orange Oreo Swiss chard, and those seeds are also from Baker Creek. This is another Baker Creek Swiss chard. This is a 5-color silver beet, and I thought the colors were beautiful, and I know my kids will like to see these grow. So this one says that they are frost hardy, so this I can probably even grow after the first frost. This one takes a little bit longer to germinate, 2 weeks to like 2.5 weeks. So we'll be waiting a while to see any growth on this, but I definitely have these planted in the heart of the garden. And then I have 2 varieties of kale. Kale is supposed to take heat really well, so I decided to plant 2 different varieties. These are also frost hardy, and these germinate in 6 to 9 days. So we should see these out of the heart of the garden first, and I'm super excited to see kale grow. I've never even eaten kale before. Isn't that crazy? How many of you guys are growing different varieties of brassicas in your garden right now? I'd be super interested to know what you're growing and what zone you're in. I'm in zone 8B 9A, so we're down here in the south, we're in Texas, and we have a lot of heat. So a lot of the things and a lot of the flowers even that we plant definitely have to be heat tolerant. And I'm kind of struggling with that right now, but I'm getting into the educated side of gardening a lot more. So hopefully the progress is like soon. As I just sit here and wind down from the day and listen to the birds and my cat's right here chilling with me, I'm just so grateful that I decided to start gardening this year. And I've just been able to share this experience with a lot of you. And you guys have just been really supportive and really positive. And I just want to say thank you for that. Your encouraging words have really stayed in like my mind, and I've thought about it a lot, and I'm just really grateful that a lot of positivity is surrounded around gardening this year. The only thing that I can say that I'm struggling with my gardening season this year is the fruit trees. I don't really know too much about them, and that could be one of the reasons why I'm struggling. So I've just been doing my research on it and just trying to educate myself more on the growth of trees, citrus trees, peach trees, all trees. I'm just doing a lot of research and further educating myself so that I can have the best thriving garden as I possibly can. I also started an Instagram for my garden. It's called Barefoot in the Garden. If you guys are interested in seeing some of my updates on a daily basis, you can check out my Instagram. I'll update more on there because it's easier for me to just, update a quick short video on some progress rather than have to upload a whole video on, the information, all that goes behind it. So if you guys are on Instagram, please look me up on there. And until next time, y'all, keep growing your own food and be blessed.